how do you get a better understandings about all things that seems a bit complex? So if you're talking about a bit about one of the popular issues that we might be facing today is the extreme pollutions, right? So how do we understand the causal AI as one of the discipline, the emerging field in artificial intelligence, to understand the measures, factors that might be affecting not only the traditional causes but also the outcomes, which is like the level of the extreme emissions. So we are talking about the carbon emissions. It's not only rely on one or two sectors, but it depends numerous factors that might be affecting these complex models and causality. So the thing is that I'm going to talk about is, do you realize that you you are not only just identifying the causal between the factors and the outcomes, but also there might be the huge numbers of the variables, that might be measurables or even unmeasurables, and then this is can be identified, using a new terms like confounding variables. So if you're talking on that case, like the extreme pollutions, so what are the major factors that produce the huge carbon emissions? And then it comes out like transportation. But if you are going to deeper level and then to understand like the complex models, and then you realize that there will be a sort of other factors that might be affecting these complex models. For instance, like the source of energy generating, how they make that energy from fossil fuels, and then the level of deforestations, caused by like the mining activities, so on and so forth, and it could be might be other factors like the failure of the governments or like the limitations of the economic development and prosperity, that government has to spread out throughout the regions. So using these terms, you are able to understand like the confounding variables. So by applying these algorithms, the causal AI, you are able, to get different level of understandings about the effect of treatment towards outcome. Not just only relying on one sectors or just blaming transportation. Because if you're blaming the transportations and the solution is to replace or to reduce the level of emissions by replacing or increasing the huge level of EV, but if you're not looking back at the sources of the EV, because the EV is only just as a storage, not replacing the sources of the energy. So if you're thinking about the level of energy and and then the majority of sources has been produced from the fossil fuels. So this is could be like creating another problem. But looking at have a look at these complex models and applying this causal AI, and then you're able to identify the confounders.